Going to go to the French newspapers now, and Florence is with us here on set. Finance is the big story of the day in the papers, really, isn't it? The summit, of course, between Sarkozy and Merkel.
It's on the cover of just about every French newspaper this morning. We're going to start by looking at the right-leaning newspaper, Le Figaro. So it says Merkel and Sarkozy's 3 suggestions for Europe. So we've been talking about them this morning. And just for a quick reminder, so first of all, a real common economic government for the Eurozone. Second of all, a tax on financial transactions at an EU level. And third of all, having all 17 Eurozone members adopt the golden rule to achieve a balanced budget. Now, in its editorial, the Le Figaro is somewhat unsurprisingly very enthusiastic about this meeting. It says that it lays the new foundations for a new Europe by changing the very way Europe works. And it congratulates Sarkozy and his sidekick, Merkel, for saying, and it says that they're facing their responsibilities and taking the necessary and legitimate steps to calm the markets. Now, according to Le Figaro, the only way to restore confidence in the markets and to save the Eurozone is more cooperation at an EU level and more discipline, especially concerning budgetary policy.
Other papers, though, they seem to be kind of playing it down a little bit, talking about it just being talk rather than anything else. Which is not surprising, really, isn't it, since they were talking.
They were
but you
talking.
Know what I mean.
They were talking. We're going to take a look at La Tribune, which is a business daily here. Mini summit for mini growth, so obviously less enthusiastic than Le Figaro. Now, according, obviously this comes after France and Germany reported 0 growth rates for the second quarter of 2011. And their editorial, as I was saying, is less enthusiastic than the Figaro. It says that no matter how hard you look at the measures put forward at the summit, none of them will stop the debt crisis and none of them will prevent a new recession. It says that Sarkozy and Merkel were pulling ideas out of a hat, and these ideas are pathetic and inadequate, according to La Tribune, given the scale of the real problem. It also points out that these measures put forward mean more federalism at a European level, which La Tribune says is a good thing, except for this is not the right kind of federalism, since it's federalism based around austerity. According to La Tribune, the right kind of federalism is a federalism around growth.
Okay, business to a businessman. Dominique Strauss-Kahn is back in the papers.
He's on the front page of, well, the scandal at least is on the front page of François, according to which it's a rape. Now, François is following up on a story that was leaked by L'Express yesterday, the magazine on their website. And now L'Express got their hands on a report that was filed by the doctor who examined Nafissatou Diallo, the chambermaid who accused Dominique Strauss-Kahn of sexually assaulting her just hours after she was registered at St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital, on May 14th. She was registered there at 3:59 p.m. And this is the report that they got their hands on. According to this sexual assault forensics exam notes, the chambermaid was indeed raped. And, of course, this report has been included in the civil case that's being filed by her lawyer, Ken Thompson.
And finally, you pulled out some rather interesting photos from Le Monde.
They're calling it the Faces of Tahrir Square. Now, this is a project that's been put forward by the NGO Human Rights Watch. They wanted to pay tribute to the anonymous and sometimes famous actors of the Egyptian revolution that brought down Hosni Mubarak on February 11th. Now, this photo gallery is a way to immortalize them for the roles that they played and to make them into heroes. Now, these photos that are in Le Monde are by Anglo-Greek photographer Platon, and we're going to start by looking. Here you see one of Naimas El Sayed. Now, she is a 26-year-old widow she's posing there with her 2 children, and her husband was killed by Egyptian security forces on Tahrir Square. We're going to also look at a second photo of Nawal El Sadawi. There she is. She's an 80-year-old women's rights activist. She's spent some time in jail for her activism and spent years speaking out, especially against female genital mutilation, which was only banned in Egypt in 2008. And the last photo we're going to look at is one of Rami Essam. He's called the singer of the square. The 23-year-old singer-songwriter and guitar player became quite famous during the uprising, and that's how he earned his nickname of the singer of the square. Now, he was imprisoned and tortured by the Egyptian army after Mubarak fell, and he's written an album about his experience both before and after the demonstrations that's called The Square.
Okay, interesting pictures. Thank you very much.
It's really worth checking out. They're beautiful.
Yeah, exactly, we will. Le Monde, wasn't it?
Yes.
All right, Le Monde for you. Thanks very much. That's Florence now with the newspaper review here on France 24.